Hello, how are you? Hello. Just as a reminder, the universe is expanding, so that should help ease the traffic. And eventually the universe will expand so far that every car will be light years away, and the world will grow cold and dark and devoid of meaning. Drive safe today. This is what I was thinking about in the car on my way to the doctor's last Thursday. I was going in for a blood test to see if I have a potassium deficiency, which, by the way, did you know that we share 50% of our DNA with bananas? So remember, Jimmy, every time you eat a banana, that's 50% cannibalism. I was sitting on wax paper surrounded by motivational posters of kittens telling you to hang in there, while the nurse prepared the demon mosquito poker to stick into my blood tunnels. Now, I'm not what you might call a fan of needles. I do not have any t-shirts supporting their band. Whoa, it just got so dark in here. There we go! And I know, it's a rare fear among the human population, but it's a cross I must bear. So I needed to distract myself while she went on to take my blood. So I started thinking about how every year, between 2 to 5 people are killed by balloons in the US, and how guinea pigs and hamsters eat their babies when they're stressed. But that wasn't helping. And that's when I realized, along with the nurse, that my veins were playing a little game of hide and seek. But I guess they didn't really know the rules of the game because you're supposed to be able to find them at the end of the game, which we could not. That day my veins were completely invisible. Perhaps I was dehydrated. Hoping I could retroactively fix that. Because the first time the nurse stuck the needle in my arm, she completely missed my vein and had to start again. So this time I started thinking about how I live in the Milky Way galaxy, but I'm lactose intolerant. But that didn't really make too much sense despite the amusing irony. And that's when a memory ding-donged on the doorbell of my brainicle. Of course, it wasn't my memory. It's a memory that only exists because so many people have told me that it happened so many times. Memory is funny that way. The memory is this. I hit my head the second I was born. Maybe the millisecond. I wasn't even completely born yet. I didn't even know what being born meant. But I certainly knew, even if it was just an instinct, that it hurt a lot. The doctor is looking one way, the nurse is looking the other, and wham! I'm out head first on the cold metal table. Hello, world! I thought it was kind of funny the first time I heard it, actually. It's like when you're a kid and you build a pillow and blanket fort in the living room, and you spend the whole day in it reading comic books and eating snacks. It's calm, peaceful, a paradise you never realized was a paradise. Then you move the wrong way and the fort collapses and you're like, ah! Ah! Whoops. I'm not 100% sure why I find that funny, but I'd like to think you know where I'm coming from. My brain came drifting back to reality, and that's when I noticed that the nurse had missed my vein again, and was now proceeding to move on to the other arm, the first arm now properly bruised, like bruised fruit. I'm a writer. So I took a hard hairpin turn in my mind and started conjuring up thoughts of another kind, wondering to myself, for no particular reason, as most of my thoughts occur, why on earth the official medical code for being struck by a chicken is different than the medical code for being pecked by a chicken. Chickens! What are you doing? They must feel cooped up. There's a medical classification code for basically every possible accident that could occur or has occurred to anyone. A 1,593-page PDF, in fact. And I read the whole thing because it's just too darn amusing. Y93.D1 is for accidents while knitting and crocheting. V97.33 is for those special moments when you're sucked into a jet engine. And possibly my personal favorite, V91.07 is for when you get a burn while on water skis that are on fire. When does that happen? There are medical codes for unspecified balloon accidents, being struck by a duck, walking into a lamppost, falling from a toilet, falling from a non-moving, non-motorized scooter, falling into a bucket of water, not tripped over a bucket of water, tripped into a bucket of water, bitten by orca, contact with non-venomous frogs. There's basically a code for everyone. Even you, Jimmy. You know who you are. As my focus refocused onto my arm, I realized that the nurse had reached success. And as a secondary realization, I realized that I was watching my blood leave my body from a tube. The very thing I was trying to avoid, and that's when I almost passed out. I wonder who else is out there, blundering in or blundering out, riding on water skis that are on fire, or accidentally smacking their head on the metal table of life. I wonder if there's a medical code for that. There's something inherently and unavoidably human about that 1,593-page PDF of whoopsies. Oh, there goes the sun again. Fumbling, stumbling, tumbling through life, but maybe that's humbling and our bumbling will turn out all right. Spin out!